you build a fire in the middle of the rock, just on the rock, and then have one of those cone-shaped chimneys over it that just floats, that hangs from the ceiling, and the whole rock would get warm. So it would also act as a heat sink to keep your house warm.
Like at Benihana.
They don't use a rock at Benihana. It's a metal grill. What are you talking about?
They have the
chimney.
chimney.
The chimney thing.
Yeah, because they always like turn it on and it goes, and then they're flipping their shrimp and making nice little volcanoes.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway.
As long as we can eat crustaceans there, I'm in. Welcome to the Sent and Bent podcast. Today we have the full crew, all four of us, and we are talking about what we are going to build on Ethan's mountain. Finally break it down for you guys for the first time ever.
And also talk about Edwin's obsession with mining gold.
And some roller coaster content.
Attempting. And all of this combined into one wonderful podcast.
Yep. And how bad Ethan's wife needs a motorcycle.
And
this
a dump
is
truck.
Sent and Bent number 50. Here we go. Yeah.
So I brought Chris a present from Scotland.
Did you?
I did.
And you're going to give it to him on the podcast?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Cookies.
Oh, look at that. this morning when I showed up.
I thought about bringing him some scotch, but he's really not a scotch sort of guy.
No.
But it was supposed to be unopened, but Kylie intercepted it on the way from the house to the shop and stole one.
Hey, Chris, now you have something to put that frosting on.
Yeah.
When I showed up this morning, Chris was just eating frosting out of the container.
You should try one though, Chris.
That was also a present too.
It was?
Yeah, from Chewy.
Oh, how nice of
He
him.
brought me that.
Brought you just a tub of frosting.
Yeah.
Everyone just brings you sugar. They know what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ethan did just get back from Scotland, so that seems like a pretty good place to start.
Yeah.
And then we can transition into the last podcast we filmed. I didn't have a roller coaster yet.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So things have happened since we filmed the pod, but how was Scotland?
No, we had a podcast with me in between.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one in between with the roller coaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Scotland was awesome. It's not my first time there. I was there back in 2013 for like a couple weeks or something. But my wife's best friend was getting married there, so that's why we went. Yeah, I don't know. I love Scotland. It's got of anywhere I've been in Europe, it's got the most like Northwest United States feel to it. In terms of like the landscape and the like, it kind of feels like, you know, the Pacific coast a bit. Less trees, but because they, cut them all down like thousands of years ago. but yeah, the landscape's really beautiful. The cities are. What I love about it is how old everything is. Like, it's like we stayed in a house for the wedding that was built in the 1300s.
Oh.
And it's not particularly noteworthy. It's just another house in Scotland. Like, yeah, it's a little older than the one next to it, but like, it's not like, wow, we don't have anything here that's that old. Like, that house predates the discovery of our continent by white people, obviously. But like, that house existed before anyone knew that this continent was here.
Wow.
It's just really weird to think about, but like, yeah. So that part's cool. Like just walking around a city that's been inhabited continuously for 900 years. Like that's just wild to anyway. Also, there's a lot of really cool cars over there that we just either don't get or like get very rarely. Like here, if you see a Land Rover Defender, it's like oh wow, look, a Defender. There's like one on every single block of the city. And if you go out into the country, it's even more because that's what everybody has. But like
that is one of my favorite cars
ever. They're all shapes and sizes too. Like you've got the like little short 2-door ones and then the long 4-door ones and then some like I also obviously was looking on Facebook Marketplace while I was there. I found a 6x6 Defender. Well, okay, technically a 4x6, but it was a Defender with 2 rear axles and a flatbed. And it was like I don't remember. It was like 8,000 or 10,000 pounds cost.
Wow.
So like with an exchange rate, like, I don't know, 12 or 15 grand, you couldn't buy a rusted out Hulk of a Defender here for that.
No.
I mean, you could, but it would be a rusted out shell. So that was cool. There was some, yeah, I mean, for the most part, the rest of the cars were just like, different versions of stuff or like almost everything over there is diesel. Not everything, but like a lot of the cars are diesel. Yeah, I don't know. It was fun. We basically just wandered around Edinburgh for the first like 4 or 5 days, and then we went up to the wedding venue. So we got there a couple days early, just because the flights were cheaper, like way cheaper, and we're like, well, might as well kill a couple extra days. Yeah, we walked over 40 miles in 5 days of being in Edinburgh. So that's a lot of walking. That's the other cool thing is you can just like see all the stuff in the city just walking. We don't really have that around here. Like you'd have to walk 40 miles to see anything.
Yeah, everything is so far
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, so that was cool. Food was really good. I mean, Scottish food is, not everybody loves it. Like, haggis and black pudding and all that weird stuff. It's types of sausage made out of like parts of animals you don't want to think about eating.
Edwin hasn't graduated to that
Yeah.
level.
I saw the look of blankness and I was like, oh wait, why would Edwin have heard of this? He didn't eat meat until like this year. But yeah, so some of the things like traditional Scottish food is like kind of like meat and potatoes, pretty bland, not a lot of spices, and then weird sausages made out of like blood and internal organs of animals. But because it's such a old big city in Europe, there's like every cuisine you can imagine. I mean, we went to an Indian restaurant that was hands down the best Indian food I've ever had. And also, I mean, when you're on vacation, that's kind of all there really is to do is like walk around and look at stuff or eat food or drink.
Well, you're a wee bit Scottish anyway, aren't you?
Not enough to matter. I mean, my mom's last name is Scottish, and like her great something grandfather, I don't know how many, it may have even just been her great grandfather, I don't know, came over from Scotland, but yeah, just a wee bit. It's accurate, yeah.
And isn't the kilt Irish?
No.
Oh, the kilt is Scottish.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kilts
because you
are
have
Scottish.
a kilt.
Yeah, I have 2 now, actually. I bought a new one just for this wedding.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I needed a little bit fancier one for this wedding. It was a very, classy event for someone like me.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
I had to try a little harder.
It was funny because we went to dinner with Alyssa and Steven, and Alyssa was like, had a picture of you on her phone, and she was like, doesn't Ethan look different?
Yeah.
And then Em was like, yeah, he's clean.
Well, also I got a significant haircut and a beard trim and was wearing clothes that I never normally wear.
Yeah. It was so funny though. She just like had it preloaded on her phone. She was like, look at Ethan.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I
hilarious.
just don't think she's ever seen you like dressed like that nice.
I mean, it would have been a pretty close for, my wedding that we last year.
Yeah, that's true.
But I didn't. So what happened is I didn't have time to get a haircut before we left. So we went to a random barber shop, and I really needed a haircut before the wedding. So we went to a random barber shop in Edinburgh, and I don't know when I get a haircut like once every 6 months at most. Like and I don't know what I want to do with my hair. I don't really care. So I usually try asking them like, oh yeah, what do you think would look good? And like that never works at the places. Like you go to great clips, they're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
So anyway, this guy was like, it's a little tiny barber shop and like he's really good at it. So I was like, he's like, all right, what are we thinking? And I was like, well, what would happen if I just said, do what you think looks best? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. Well, he took that for both the beard and the hair. I thought I was just talking about the hair. I told him I wanted a beard trim, but I thought he was going to ask again what I wanted with the beard.
Oh.
And then he just zing, took off like 80% of it.
Yeah. I was wondering
My
why
wife
he
was
went-
sitting there like, no, don't shave it off.
Well, you grow it back pretty quick.
Yeah, it's fine. It was just, the point is, that's why it was so short. That's why it looked so different, is because like I just walked into a random barbershop and gave this man free reign to do,
Yeah, I don't
do
think
whatever with
I've
my
seen
hair.
your beard that short in a few years.
It's been a long time, yeah.
No.
But anyway.
The building that you were in lasting a long time got me thinking, and I don't think we've really talked about it much, or maybe not at all yet, is what you want to end up building up at the property. I know that you and
I think
Chris have a
we've-
lot of ideas for
Yeah.
that. So
We've
I was
talked about
thinking-
it like a little bit here and there, but not
But I
like,
think we should just break it down, and like we
Yeah.
have the time, we can just kind of like
Yep.
go over what exactly you want to do, because like I can't even like fully picture it, and I've been there seeing you point at things. So like maybe you and Chris can like elaborate on how this would work, because a giant boulder cabin that can last 2,000 years without maintenance just seems crazy to me.
I mean, I never said 2,000 without maintenance.
You said 1,000?
I said 1,000, but
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I mean, it probably could. Like, there's plenty of buildings in Scotland that are, 1,000 years old, and they're all just made out of rocks. But they either don't have a roof and are just a bunch of walls,
Yeah.
or the roof's been replaced numerous times.
And they're small rocks.
Yes, they're small rocks because they didn't have excavators 1,000 years ago.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so when I bought that property, I knew that I wanted to build something there, some sort of cabin, something interesting, because I've always liked architecture and, building. I mean, I like building anything, but for as long as I can remember, I've had a vision of building a house that's like built into the side of a rock face or a cliff or something that most people would look at and go, oh, you can't build a house there unless you like level it first or whatever, or you just can't build a house there. So I've always had that. And then that's why I bought that property, because I found it and I was like, oh, this is the spot, because it's like, it's got all of the things. It's got an amazing view. It's got big rocks. It's got a cliff. It's got all that stuff, but it's also like accessible. It's only like 12 miles from town. I mean, sure, it's over a really rough dirt road, and I had to build some of the road to get, but it's not like 4 hours out into the middle of nowhere, Montana.
And there's also no neighbors.
That too, yeah. I mean, I can see some other houses like way across the valley, but all the way around it, or three of the four sides are national forest, and then the other side is a timber company, so like not a real neighbor. So anyway, and over the last couple of years of being up there and camping out and like, getting the bus up there and all that, I've just been pondering what I want to build up there and where. I mean, I've always known roughly where I wanted to do it, but like, somewhere along the cliff that's up there, but trying to figure out exactly where and how and all of that is, something I didn't want to just like start building without pondering it. But another thing that I've been fascinated or fixated on for years is just building things that can last. Like, and I mean, vehicles or whatever, that's one thing, but those inherently wear out because you're using them. But building a structure that could last, because I spent years building houses. I mean, with Chris, and not with Chris, but when you just build the same type of house over and over, and then like sometimes you're going and replacing a roof that was done like not that long ago, or there's a foundation that's cracked that was poured like 60 years ago or something. It's just like it's all built to be quick and easy, and
And disposable.
Disposable. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the disposable is kind of a byproduct of trying to make it so that like you can build a whole subdivision in a year, instead of like take 5 or 10 years to build one house, whatever. Like all the castles and stuff, all around Europe and the rest of the world that's had people living there for more than a couple hundred years. Like none of those things were built in like 3 months, they were built in probably many, many years, or in some cases centuries. Like the house I stayed at in Scotland, they said, oh yeah, this section of the house was built in the 1300s, this section was built in the 1500s, and this one was built in the 1700s. So the house was built, added on to, but like that's 500 years of, 400 or 500 years of history that house was being at. It's like, it's a time scale that's just not even close to what we think about here. We're like, oh yeah, throw up a subdivision, build a house, it'll last most of the rest of your life probably, but who cares because you'll sell it, it'll get sold 6 times, and that's somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting a little bit off in the weeds there, but
something else like kind of unique to this area is the appreciation of real estate too. Like as an investment, like the lot you're on becomes more valuable than your house, and even if your house is perfectly fine, they'll still tear it down and build a new one.
Yeah, especially like the lakefront stuff, like the really desirable real estate around here, like or like certain neighborhoods. Like it's
if you're in the right place, it's like it only needs to last 60 years, because 60 years later you're going to sell it
Or somebody will
build
exactly.
a bigger, nicer house there. Yeah,
Right.
It's a totally backwards way of thinking.
Yeah, it's just stupid. So I've always thought about that as an idea of like building a house that way. And then this wasn't even necessarily the idea when I first got the place up there, but as I was up there more, I just realized that what made sense was to build the house out of stone because I've just got that giant field of rocks up there. And they're already like pretty well cleaved into squarish shapes. And, like I said, all the houses in Scotland and stuff, most of them, even more modern ones, a lot of them still are made out of stone. It's like largely sandstone that's been like, well, the really old ones are more like slate type rock that's just natural rock that's stacked. But the newer ones, like that are, newer, the ones that are still, that are like 500 years old or whatever, they're all like milled sandstone. So like it's quarried and cut into squares and stacked and all that. And it's cool, but because we have it, I like the idea of building it out of giant rocks, a rock the size of this table.
Yes.
And then what I didn't know until Chris came up there is that Chris has been obsessed with building a house out of rocks for his whole life.
Chris is like me and Chang Lee's and wheelies when it comes to rocks. Have you
rocks.
always loved rocks like
I
that?
love rocks.
Have you built with rocks like big scale before?
Not big scale, but I've built with a lot of rocks in mind. Yeah, and used a lot of rocks and done a lot of unique like fireplaces and hearths and stuff out of rock. That was all that I could get locally when I was where I was building. And there's some beautiful rocks down there where I stay in Mexico, and volcanic rock that's incredible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and really, really pretty stuff, And there's some rocks down there that have turquoise in them, and there's some rocks, that have purple in them, and very colorful stuff. But I've always, since I got into the trades when I was 16, always wanted to build an all-rock house. Everything out of rock.
This is kind of like the perfect opportunity.
It really
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Right when you start coming and hanging out, working with us, we're about to take on this very rock-oriented challenge.
Yeah. And nobody knew that I wanted to do that up until we went
up there
to the property.
And then you were just geeking over the rocks. And I was like,
yeah.
man, Chris likes rocks.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all like rocks. I just didn't know Chris liked them as much as... But yeah, so
moving big rocks with big machines.
Yeah, that too.
I can get into that.
Yep.
I've been watching just like excavator videos now and a lot of gold mining videos as of late. But
yes.
Yeah.
I feel
we'll get there. Yeah. That's another side tangent, but I have some things to say.
Yeah, you've been acting suspicious since I saw you this morning. I can tell you're holding something in, but
I just figure if I save some stuff for us to just have on the pod, it's then I'm actually telling you guys for the first time and picking your brains about things. But I've been researching things this weekend. But
nice.
Anyways,
so back to the house thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, build it all out of stone, and obviously, as is evidenced by stone buildings all around the world, they last pretty much forever as long as you build them in a way that gravity isn't trying to tear them apart. So, if they're relatively stable and the rocks are stacked well, because eventually the mortar kind of gets a little soft over, a few hundred years or crumbly, and then the rocks can fall off. But if you just make it so that they're dry stacked well enough that they won't fall over on their own, then it'll probably last, 1,000 years. And the bigger the rocks you use, the less mortar joints you have.
And the more stable they are.
And the more stable they are because, they're a couple thousand pounds per rock instead of 50 or 100 pounds of rock.
They're not going to move very easy.
No.
Yeah.
So that seemed like the obvious choice. But the biggest factor on making a house that can last, effectively forever, not forever, but, a ridiculously long time. The biggest factor is the roof because, like I said, all those houses in Scotland and everywhere else around the world, they've all had the roof maintained constantly or replaced or it's not there. Side note, I was looking at real estate in Scotland out of curiosity. You can buy an entire island with 6 houses like not derelict, not falling apart, like 6 functioning houses on it and the remnants of a castle for like $5.5 million.
Wow.
Really?
It's not a small island. Like, it's a big island. Not like an island like the ones in our lake. Like, probably, you know, the big island that there's like 30 houses on?
Yeah.
It's probably like 4 times the size of that island.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
each one of those
massive.
lots are like
Yeah,
3
5.
million.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy the whole thing. I mean, that's pounds, but still, round up a little bit. So $7 million, and you can buy 6 houses and a whole island. There was another one for like $2.5 million that had like this really cool castle, like huge castle on the ocean.
What?
The castle didn't have a roof, so the roof, that's what got me thinking about this again. The roof had fallen in, but it was like 40 acres with this really cool castle that's been there for like, I don't know, 700 years, and also like a gift shop and a museum and like a full house next to the castle. All of this stuff was like $2.5 million.
Wow.
With like a giant, like on the ocean. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
That's nutty. Things are really, really expensive here.
Yeah,
on a world
that's the moral
scale.
of the
It's
story.
insane.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the roof thing. Yeah, the point is the problem is generally the roof, because if your roof fails, everything else fails. Like, your walls might still exist, but nothing else. And then you don't have a house, you just have some walls in a field, which there's lots of those around the world.
Kind of hard to live without a roof.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, the reason that you have to build it, especially in this case, to last that long without maintenance is that, you know, us humans only live 100 years at best. So after I'm gone, there's no guarantee that anyone's going to care about that house for the next 1,000 years. I mean, like, if I have kids, they'll probably care, but only for so long. And then sooner or later, it's a house way out in the mountains. Maybe somebody lives there, maybe they don't. But you got to plan for the fact that if they don't, if somebody, because yeah, like a normal roof is fine if you're there to maintain it and check it every 30 years and like put some new screws in it or whatever.
Yeah, well, someday it could be next to Burger King, you know.
I mean, it's not really an ideal location for Burger King. But
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, it could be. No,
it
it's
could
true.
go that way.
It's true, but I mean, but even so, like, there's no guarantee that someone's going to care to maintain it the
Right.
whole time. So, and also that's just part of the fun of the challenge, is just building something that doesn't need maintenance. So I was thinking on that, and that's when I came up with the concept for the roof of it, which the idea is to build the whole structure for the roof out of steel, because steel does rust, but if you use thick steel, like 1/4 inch or better thickness, like, it takes hundreds of years to rust through unless it's in like underwater or like in the ocean or near the like in a salty environment is the only, like, in a non-salty environment, a chunk of steel that's like roughly in the air, not buried in the woods or something, will last hundreds of years.
And it will also be dry.
Right, but even if it wasn't, even if you took the structure off the top of that, all the roof beams would last for hundreds of years without anything happening, because it's just a bunch of, like, you get surface rust on the outside, and unless it's constantly like got, you know, pine needles and stuff. Well, anyway, the point is that even if there was a small failure in the surface of the roof, the structure wouldn't rot out over a long period of time. So build the structure out of steel, and then there's actually I got the idea for this part from a gazebo at one of the parks in Sandpoint, at the park where they have the farmers market.
Yeah.
The gazebo there is
That
made all
thing's
out of
gonna
steel.
last forever.
Yes, right. And that one, it's a bunch of radius beams, you know, like square tube, rectangular tube that's rolled into a radius, and then in both axes. So it's like kind of a, seashell shaped roof. And they didn't do traditional roofing on it. They just took 4x8 sheets of like probably 1/8 inch plate and just welded all the seams and just welded them to the structure. So that's what I want to do. But instead of using like 1/8 inch mild steel, use like 3/16 or 1/4 stainless and just make it absurdly overkill.
That would weigh a little bit.
Yes, it would weigh a few thousand pounds for sure. But not only would it not rust, because you weld all the seams, obviously, with stainless wire. And I mean, of course, stainless steel isn't perfect, but it won't rust very quickly. Like, everything rusts eventually, but stainless steel lasts a whole lot longer. So the point is, all the seams are welded, so there's no fasteners. There's no screws to fail. There's no nails to fail. There's no layers to peel up in the wind. It's just effectively your whole roof and structure is one piece of steel at this point. And not only that, but if pine needles and stuff build up on it, it's not going to rust through underneath there. It's not going to leak. And if a tree falls onto it, it's just going to go boing, like a very big tree. Or in the case of that location, a rock, which is a very real possibility.
Especially over the timeline of 1,000
exactly.
years.
Yeah.
Over the timeline of living there for 100 years, the odds of a rock falling on your house, pretty low. But 1,000 years, I mean, look at the place. It's just littered with giant boulders everywhere.
I think that when I park my truck up there sometimes, I'm like, if one of these came loose, my truck is gone.
Yeah. Odds are low, but if it happens, your truck is a pancake.
Yeah.
It's a pretty steep slope.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, and it's that big slope of giant boulders, and then above that, it's just a straight up cliff in the trees. I mean, it's like kind of broken
that
up.
they all broke off.
Well, I
of.
found out when I was climbing up to get that drone that there's some pretty loose stuff up there.
Yeah. So anyway, obviously, one of those rocks would have to go pretty far to hit where the house is, but it's possible. So if you build your roof in any normal fashion, like anything that anyone's ever done for a house, pretty much, it's not going to work. Like one method that like some people that build, sort of, I don't know, more. What's the word I'm looking for? Durable, like sort of doomsday houses is like they bury it. You build it underground.
Yeah, bunker.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going full bunker. I was thinking like the three sides ones where it's like in a hill and then the roof is also dirt, and then, but still underneath that.
Earth homes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But a lot of those are built out of concrete with rebar. And
That's not lasting 1,000 years.
No.
What happens there? Why not?
So the main factor is rust. The other thing is concrete never stops curing.
Oh, so it gets so
keeps
hard
curing,
it gets brittle.
Yes. It gets more brittle over time. And then also the rebar, in our climate here, it's not super wet and it's not super, we're not close to the ocean. But nevertheless, the rebar will eventually rust. And it rusts inside there. And as it does, it expands. The rebar does. And it just breaks apart the concrete. So that's why bridges have to be replaced and stuff. And there's ways to mitigate that. I mean, you could use... They make fiberglass rebar now, so that's an option. But that has downsides in other ways.
They also have the coated green stuff, with plastic over the top of it.
But it's still metal in the end, and it'll sooner or later it'll rust. But yeah, so go ahead.
I was amazed when down in Mexico how concrete slabs that were poured in the 80s with lots of rebar, are already broken up.
Yep.
They're already rusted because they're next to the ocean.
Yeah.
And then you just use regular rebar, and it just rusted inside the concrete and busted the concrete apart.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking, 40, 50 years, and they're gone.
So it's nothing.
So over 1,000 years, it'd be dust.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even just, like, concrete, like, unless you pour a really thick slab without rebar, the concrete itself, like, just gets brittle over time. Like, I mean, the Romans had it figured out, but we don't really, I shouldn't say we don't know. We don't currently use any methods that they use to make that concrete that lasted 1,000 years. Like the Pantheon. Yeah.
So we couldn't even do that if we
tried.
tried.
We could. They've studied it, and they have come up with some theories as to how it works. But
it costs too much.
Yeah. Well, it's because they used, from what I understand, there's two factors that we know of in that Roman concrete that they built the Pantheon with, and it's seawater instead of fresh water and volcanic ash. And those two, I mean, seawater you can get, that's in abundance, but like for a concrete plant in, say, Nebraska, are they really going to ship salt water or like add salt to the water? Like it's just, and there's also no incentive, certainly not in this country. The rest of the house isn't built to last more than 60 years anyway. Mm-hmm. But so, from what I understand, we could, in theory, make rebar or make concrete that would last like that, but we don't. So you can't just like get 1,000-year concrete.
Wow.
So anyway, point is, use as little concrete as possible. Use it only for in the form of mortar to hold the rocks together. But even then, you're basically just using it to fill the gaps not actually hold it together. Use gravity to do most of the holding. And then, a giant stainless steel roof, which, of course, is going to be very expensive. But, you're talking like, I don't know, it depends on the price of steel and how thick you go. But you're talking like maybe $20,000 worth of stainless steel. But that's it replaces your plywood, your tar paper, all of your nails and or screws, your roofing metal, all of the trim. And you only have to do it once, ever. So, like, when you add up all those other things, your plywood and your roofing metal or shingles or whatever you're using, like, it's not that much more expensive given that it's about 1,000 times better.
And zero replacement cost.
Yeah.
Well, also, you don't have all the materials that a regular house does. All your materials are free.
Well, yeah, except for the metal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The rest of the house costs nothing because
Right,
it's just a bunch of
exactly.
rocks
That is pretty
and
cool.
a few bags of mortar, which
Right.
is very cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't steel another thing that we messed up, though? Because I've been really into these YouTube documentaries of these boats that retrieve sunken war vessels, and it's so sick. But a big reason why these boats exist are to retrieve pre-World War II steel crafts, like if it's a sub or a boat, because the bombs messed up the way that like steel is made now. It's weaker.
It's not. I don't think that that's weaker. I think that there's certain. I mean, not that I've heard anyway. The radiation from all the nukes changes, everything. But so when we make steel now, it has small amounts of radiation. I think that the reason they want that non-radiated steel is for like really precise science stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not a strength thing. It's that it needs to not have radiation.
Yeah.
Because it'll contaminate, all sorts of tests. Like if you're measuring things at a super precise amount, you can't have radiation coming from your steel.
And this
it's
steel
crazy.
is super valuable.
Yeah.
Like these shipwrecks are like, it's not for the historic value necessarily. Like they know right where they are. They knew what they looked like before they sank. You're not going to learn anything new. They know how it sank. It's all
Right, it's all
really
documented,
well
yeah.
documented. But they'll spend so much money getting them because they want the steel that doesn't have radiation in it.
Yeah.
I
that's
didn't
pretty
realize
crazy.
that.
But
It's the coolest thing ever. They're like two boats with this giant crane thing, and then the crane goes down and it lifts up the entire boat. And they'll build a boat specifically for saving another boat. And then like I was watching this Russian one that they were like, they'd sink a ship with like a sub or something, and then they'd go pick it up, restore it, and then they would use it in their navy.
Whoa. That's
Isn't
crazy.
that crazy, man? That's
That seems
so
like it would take a
gangster.
lot of money to recover those. So it must really be worth
but
it.
think of how much it costs to build a warship, especially at a time of war.
Right.
It's way better to just pull it up, fix the holes or whatever, and then just send them out.
Wow, I
That's
didn't know they
insane.
were doing that.
Yeah,
That's-
it's crazy. There's some pretty sick YouTube documentaries
That's cool.
on that. But yeah,
so the radiation thing, I mean, that's very real, but I don't think it has anything to do with the strength of steel.
Okay.
I don't think that's changed.
it's more for
It's just for things that need to be precisely
Yeah.
measured and
Yeah.
scientific
and maybe
stuff.
if you have like a little steel thing in your helicopter, you don't want it radiating your other stuff in your.
It would only matter for instruments. Like it's such a
Okay.
small amount of radiation, it wouldn't like hurt things, but anything that's measuring something super precisely that has
Oh.
any influence, like radiation can mess with all sorts of like, I don't know. I'm not claiming to know how it all works. I just know that that's what
Yeah.
it affects is
That
all
makes
the like
sense.
super precise measurements of things.
So it's a non-factor for your roof.
Exactly. It's not a factor for the roof. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the roof also wouldn't really stop radiation, but I'm not really trying to survive the apocalypse. I just want to build a house that'll be there
yeah.
after the apocalypse.
Yeah. Just hope the apocalypse doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well,
at
it
least
would help stop the radiation,
I mean, it would.
but it won't stop all of it.
No, it won't stop all of it. It would slow it down a little bit, and the rocks would definitely work. But I mean, I forget which one it is. There's alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. I think the gamma is the one that's super bad, like that's super, super bad. And it takes like 6 feet of concrete or something to stop it. Like it's ridiculous how much it'll go through.
Wow.
I don't remember, but I just remember being like, wow, that's unrealistic. So yeah, a thin layer of stainless steel, not going to do that. But
And so the plan would be you have the rocks there and then the roof there. And I was thinking maybe, Chris, you could tell us about the next big grind hard video project, which would be our rock mill. Do you want to talk about that and how you would build that?
A giant bandsaw that cuts rock.
And have you built one before?
No, but I've seen a couple of them, and I've studied them, and I've watched them. There's one down in Utah that's incredible, and it takes. Yeah, I don't know what kind of rock he was cutting, but
I mean, Utah would probably be sandstone,
yeah.
but
Well,
is red rock or
No, it was pretty hard rock. It might even been basalt.
yeah, basalt's very hard.
But it took a long time. I mean, some of those big giant rocks were. One of them I saw that he cut was like almost 8 feet, in diameter, but it took almost 4 days to make a cut.
Holy!
But to cut an 8-foot rock in half perfectly smooth, 4 days, that's nothing. I mean, now you have a rock the size of this table that's perfectly flat.
Right.
So
How cool is that?
Are these a thing you can buy? Is there a
Yes.
version you can just buy?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's like $250,000.
Right, right.
So we're going to build one, and how are we going to build it, Chris?
Well,
And how does it work?
we're going to use. We're going to make it kind of like a lumber mill. That's the the concept.
Bandsaw mill.
Bandsaw mill.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to make it big. We haven't really decided if it's going to be horizontal yet or, how that's going to work. But we're going to make it out of, you can buy the actual blade material,
Which is
basically rope
Yep.
with diamonds on it.
yeah. So it's not like a flat blade. It's just a piece of steel cable with little chunks of softer metal with diamonds cast into it every like couple inches. There's a little nugget of diamond studded steel or metal crimped onto the cable. And so
And it just goes around and around, like a bandsaw. But also you have to provide a lot of water.
Yeah.
It
it
has
doesn't have to be a huge volume, just constant.
Yeah.
It has to be constantly, like a garden hose amount of water would be more than enough. You just need
but
it to not stop. Yeah.
constantly,
For 4
nonstop.
days.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how are we going to do that?
Well,
there's
you
a
just
there's
have
a big cistern, or there isn't, but there's a big hole in the ground that's full of water all the time. So
You just have to have a recovery method.
or that, yes.
Oh, yes. You cycle it back into the machine.
Right,
And then you only lose
exactly.
whatever you lose to evaporation.
I mean, like a tile saw works,
Yeah.
It just recirculates the water,
Uh-huh.
and all the silt, so-called shavings or the silt, will go to the bottom. But you got to have the water to keep it cool.
Is there a chance there's gold in this granite?
No. Well, I shouldn't say no that hard, but the chances are extremely low.
Dang
That there'd have to be when gold happens in granite, it's in a quartz vein,
Yeah.
Yes.
and there's not a lot of that in the granite up there. It's pretty much just solid granite.
And if there was, Edwin, it'd be really hard to get out.
Yes,
You wouldn't be panning it.
That's
Edwin,
what I've been
your
into
obsession
on
with
YouTube.
we
Roller
should just
coasters, gold, and ship recovery.
Edwin, if you really, really, really want to do gold mining, just buy a gold mine. They're not even expensive. I'm not joking. Like, you go on Facebook. I know it sounds dumb, but
It sounds obscene, but I guess
it does. But dude, there's mining claims for sale all over the place. You're not even buying the property. You're just buying the rights to mine it.
They're on
and it's like-
Facebook?
Yeah, like 8 or 10. like I've seen them for like 8 or 10 grand for the rights to mine. Obviously, it's not a good one, but you're not trying to make money mining gold. You just want to find some damn gold.
I think Edwin just wants the satisfaction of pulling a gold flake out of the pan.
Exactly.
Oh, I want more than that, but we can talk about that later. I don't
Oh,
want to deter
okay.
you
Oh,
from...
But yeah, anyway,
Edwin, you don't understand how much work it is. It's a lot of work. And it's a lot of work for nothing before you ever find anything.
I think he started to learn that this week that Ethan was in Scotland.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a diamond rope that
Yep.
you put between some
You-
dirt bike wheels. Is that the plan?
Possibly. I mean,
Yeah.
we might be able to find something better than that, but that was our first. We were just talking about it, and that was an idea we came up with of something we just have.
So,
So
how
this
much
r- oh.
tension do you need? Like,
Not a lot. I mean, just
No.
enough to keep it straight.
and then
Yeah.
The
But-
bed moves the rock slowly through.
No,
or-
the rock stays still.
and then the
The saw moves.
Yeah.
Much easier to move a saw that weighs like a couple 100 pounds versus a rock that could weigh 20,000.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
'Cause
part of the idea is to make it so gravity does the moving.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
as
our
it
idea.
cuts, it
So
slides.
some kind of a slope
Yep.
or some kind of a pitch that as it cuts, it will feed itself into the rock.
Because making a motor drive system that's that slow is a lot of complication, and also figuring out exactly what feed rate is right for cutting a rock. It's going to take a lot of trial and error. But if we just let gravity do the work, the idea is it's going to be on some sort of track, and you just make the track have some jacks on all four corners, so you can just jack up one side of it so it's
Slope
sloped.
it the way you want, If it's not enough slope, you can take it up a little more.
Yeah.
If it's too much, you can let it back down.
I already know how I'm going to help in all of this now.
Oh,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Have you guys seen
Oh,
the
no.
surf cameras that you can see, like they live stream the waves? Ow! I just poured water all over the power adapter for the podcast.
Directly on it.
Direct hit. I was worried about that. Wow. Well, if that doesn't die, I'll keep an eye on it. But so these surf cams, you can control them through the internet to like pan around. So we could get Starlink up there and
Yep.
live stream it. So if it takes 4 days, obviously we're going to set one up while we're there, and then we're not going to come back till next week. But if we had a camera that we could control on the internet, we could like zoom in and like see if something got hung up, so we know to go.
Well, we'd
up
want to,
there.
if we were going to leave it unattended for days, we'd definitely want that camera.
Yeah.
I wasn't imagining leaving it unattended, but also we're not going to
No.
need to.
But if it takes 4 days, you're just going to live up
Oh,
there
so-
for every rock?
Somebody's going to have to put gasoline in it.
Yeah. Also, yeah, it would run out of gas. But also, it doesn't have to be continuous. You can just let it go until it runs out of gas, and then go back and start the cut the next day. Like, you don't
Oh.
have to cut from start to finish. You can just let
Yeah.
it stop in the middle of the cut. So, like,
Wow.
you
How
go up
many
there-
rocks do you think we're going to need to cut?
Not that many. This saw is because it'd be cool to build, and certainly giant ones. Like, we're mostly going to be cutting smaller rocks,
Yeah.
because the real reason we need
so
the
that
saw,
only takes a couple hours or something?
probably, I don't know, we'll find out. But
Well, we want the floor to be rock too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
we want
And
to
you want it
cut
to be smooth.
pieces of rock that go for the floor. We want, pieces of rock to go for the tables, for the windowsills. I mean,
yeah, all of that stuff, like the
everything's gonna
window
be
framing.
rock,
Yeah.
So
So,
Yeah.
but in terms of like rocks this big, as big as this table, we don't need to cut like for that house anyway. We don't need to cut rocks like that, but maybe once for the table,
right.
Which one of my ideas for another idea I've had for that house, since even before I was thinking of building the whole thing out of rock, is to put a giant flat rock in the middle of the living room and have it be the fireplace. And just you build a fire in the middle of the rock, just on the rock, and then have one of those cone-shaped chimneys over it that just floats,
Oh,
that hangs from
yeah.
the ceiling. So you can and then you could sit on the rock around the fire, and the whole rock would get warm. So it would also act as a heat sink to keep your house warm.
Like at Benihana.
like in the wintertime.
They don't use a rock at Benihana. It's
Well,
a metal grill. What are you talking
they
about?
Have the
Oh,
chimney.
the chimney thing. Okay. I was trying to figure out what you were talking about.
Yeah, because they always like turn it on and it goes, "Zoo," and then they're flipping their shrimp and making nice little volcanoes.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway,
Well, we'll be able to flip shrimp.
Okay.
yeah.
As long as we can eat crustaceans there, I'm in.
yep. Well, the crustaceans will have to be imported.
Yeah.
We don't have any native to that property crustaceans.
Chris was telling us about crabbing in Mexico.
but,
Crabbing and shrimping.
We need to go see the Baja 1000
Yeah.
soon.
We'll just have Chris be our tour guide for the Baja.
Yeah, it's in November. The
That's coming up
1000.
quick. We might have to go for like the 500 or something, or the 1000 next year. But
The 500 already happened.
well, then next year. The 250 is in like February, isn't
It's in March.
Yeah.
The 500's in June.
Yeah. So we should either do the 1000 or the 250 because we want to go down there when it's cold here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
What
be
were you
the
saying about the
1000.
rock house, Steven?
Oh, I was just wondering if you just buy that rope by the
Yep.
foot?
Yeah, you can buy
Where
it.
do you get that at? I've never seen it.
China.
Okay.
But like
Really?
Yeah. But eBay and
Whoa!
yeah. I first found it on Alibaba, but eBay has it, Amazon has it. Like it's all shipped from China, but But yeah, it's not even that expensive. Like,
So do people just buy it to replace it on their machines, or other people
probably.
building this
No,
type of?
no.
Okay.
There's I looked it up and I found one video on YouTube of somebody that like either bought or built a machine. No, not that. Chris is over here making a sawing motion with his hands, just hand
Could you
sawing it.
imagine?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's probably how they cut the rocks for the pyramids. But
2 guys, one on each end of the rope,
Yep.
Just tug of war
and water.
and water.
I mean, it would work. It'd just take forever. I mean, heck, if you want to get really crazy, on Alibaba, they have a rock chainsaw that's like 20 feet long that goes on an excavator, so you can cut giant slabs out of a.
Wow.
That
Mount-
sounds
mountain.
kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's been a logging horror film with that in it. It seems
No,
like
it's so obscure.
it seems like
nobody's-
something you'd want though. Like
Yeah,
Final Destination 13 or
but
whatever they're on.
nobody would know what it is. I've been into machinery my whole life, way more than most people, and I just now found out that exists.
Could you imagine we could just cut Chang Lee's in half like they're standing still?
No, it's for cutting rock, Edwin.
Cutting rock is a
Not
very
chain
different thing than
links.
cutting metal. I mean, sometimes they're compatible,
No.
but like cutting. So yes,
Maybe the next Mad Max movie is. Why aren't there ever like excavators and bulldozers? That'd be like the most prime
they
thing.
do. They have them mounted on the cars. Remember
Yeah.
that? Like they have it. Well, because they're slow.
Yeah, and they need to be fast.
They need to be
for the
fast, so they just
warfare.
mount them on. Remember, there was an excavator mounted on the war rig in the last Mad Max.
Oh yeah, I forgot
and a
about that.
plow.
Yeah.
And a bulldozer
And
blade.
a bulldozer blade. Like they have that. They just put them on
Wow,
giant military vehicles.
that's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, the rock saw. Like Chris said, the main reason we thought it up is for the floor, because we're talking about how to do the floor in there, and obviously it'd be really silly to do anything that's not rock, but you want it to be perfectly flat. So we won't make like square tiles of granite because that'd be boring and also more work. We'll just take natural shaped rocks and just slice them into
And then
layers.
smooth them out and kind of put them in like that flagstone.
So
Style.
like
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
like you would do with
Mhm.
slate in your patio, just flatter.
Mhm.
So yeah, we could just slab them and and then just like interlay them, and we might have to chisel off some edges to make them fit together, right? But
I mean, obviously, around the windows, we're going to have to make cuts.
yeah,
you know.
right. And for doing the windows, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to cut basically we're gonna have to mill some rock posts effectively. But again, the cool thing is with those,
It's
I
crazy
was thinking
how
about this.
you guys can just see this whole thing in your brain.
Not crazy.
Like you're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
you
know.
guys are in like agreement. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to do post because that's the only way. So you guys have like both thought of that.
Yeah, we haven't
Yeah.
talked about that part before, but yeah.
No, I know, and you guys are just like you both know because that's like the only way. But that you both know that is
Yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah, but what's really cool is it doesn't really have to be a square post.
Exactly. I was
It
just going to say the
has
same
be
thing.
A two-sided rock.
Shit, what you were just thinking.
Yeah.
We're both,
Yeah.
while you're busy talking, we're both like trying to say or
Yeah.
waiting for an opportunity to say
Yeah.
that it only has to be flat on two sides. So like it can have this really cool contour sticking out the other
Yeah.
two sides.
The
Exactly,
supercomputer's just
exactly.
always cooking in the background when it comes to rock construction.
When it comes to just building anything.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that's the idea.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know what the
House
internet
made out of
wants?
rocks. What's the internet want?
It's pretty clear. The decision has been made by the people.
I know what you're about to say, Edwin, and I know what Ethan's reaction's gonna be.
Wait.
Well, the roller coaster video has come out,
Yes.
and I'd say 80% of the comments from Grindhard people on that video are, you need to make the roller coaster bigger with some Ethan attachments and put it on the cliff on the property. All the,
I think-
hundreds of comments
Yeah.
saying this.
I
The
mean-
people have chosen.
That's hilarious. That roller coaster in it as it sits, no, that thing's
But
atrocious.
it could be made great.
Yeah, I mean, if we made some new track sections for it,
It
and
needs to be made over,
Well, yeah, well,
remade.
we have all the parts.
yes, we need to make the car longer
Uh-huh.
and lower,
Yep.
and so that a normal human can fit in it, and it's got padding.
Yeah.
I
I think a race seat, the 5-point harness.
sure, yeah,
It'd be so comfy.
yeah. I mean, if we make it actually cool and look good, and also key point be removable,
Uh-huh.
I'm not totally against it. We just have to make it better. But Here's the thing. We have to make it a lot better, which is very time consuming.
Yes.
That's what I don't get is how to do like the helix curves on this steel perfectly. How do they do that and sell it to me for $2,000? It doesn't make any sense.
They have a big machine that just rolls the helixes. But we do too. Ours is just manual, so it did take a very long time.
How much is an automatic one?
Probably $20,000.
Oh, yikes.
I don't know. I haven't looked into one, and that's still not like fully automatic. It's
Can we
just
get one used?
They're not very common.
Oh.
Yeah. No, but we could do it. Like, it's not that hard to make a rolled helix, and they don't have to be 100%. Like, I did that on the Tesla. I did 2 of them that are not only matched but mirrored, and they have 3 different radiuses in 3 different planes, which is way more complicated than you need for a because also here's the thing. Tubing rollers, manual tubing rollers, by nature almost always make a helix unless you try to not make a helix.
Which
so if
some
you just
roller coaster pieces we wouldn't want a helix.
No, some of them are just an arc.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you just did the same thing twice on a tubing roller, you'd probably end up with the same piece. Also, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be close.
Yeah.
Unlike the one I did on the Tesla, where you have something you're looking at, and it has to match that within a pretty close margin all the way across. We don't care if, like, they just have to be perfectly parallel, but that's easy. You just space them out.
And my roller coaster cart has, like, a pivotable axle. Like,
yeah,
we could get closer than my current roller coaster
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But it's a lot of work. Like,
also, we could...
There's a GoPro somewhere.
Okay.
Anyway.
Also, we could, like, paint it a neutral color, so it doesn't,
Yeah, it definitely can't be bright orange.
You know what my dream is?
What?
Well, I have a few.
I was going to say you have a lot.
I really want...
To roller coaster to the gold.
Well, I have been thinking about redoing my cart to look like a mining cart, for sure. But no, my dream is to convince him to let me have the roller coaster in our backyard long enough for it to show up on Google Earth.
Dude, you have to do that.
Right?
That would be pretty awesome.
It might take a couple years, though.
Well, I think, don't they do it every year?
I don't know.
I think they do it every year.
I think
now.
so.
Oh,
But I don't know if they've already taken the pictures this year, but there's so much smoke they probably wouldn't use.
Well, we could just pull up
pictures.
Google Earth and look at my yard right now. It's a great metric because you can see where the things are parked.
Because there's been constant progress on your yard.
No, not even just that. Just where things are parked and what vehicles we have or don't.
Yeah, then we'll know what time of year it was taken. Yeah, that's a good point, but that's one of my dreams.
Also, if you're watching, please don't try to find my house on Google Earth. That's creepy.
Well, my house will be easy to find, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Like, you just look up your address, like you think you get, tell your friend to come over that hasn't been over yet. And then they like see your view on satellite view and there's like a roller coaster in the backyard and it's set up to where it would be exposed like from the trees from like almost any angle. Our trees aren't that big anymore. So, wow.
There you go.
But
it's almost tall enough to be visible from street view too. Imagine the street view to see the top of the roller coaster.
Yeah, at the right angle. You
got to time that right. That way you're on the cart at the crest of it.
Also,
well, what I was thinking, if we had it on your cliff, kind of like the lift hill, like to go above the cliff, and then the track hung out over the edge, you could double the current helix, like double the size of the drop, double the size of the helix, spiral underneath itself, and then back around the cliff.
Yeah, I was thinking that if we were going to put it up there, a decent spot would be on the hill. Like, I don't want it right where the house is going to be. One, it's going to be in the way of trying to do anything. And 2, like, it
doesn't fit the vibe.
It doesn't fit the vibe, exactly.
It's a little different.
But the hill, you know how, like, where the house is going to be is, like, right on the edge of the cliff. And then there's to the north, it goes up farther.
Yeah.
Up on top of that, it's, like, reasonably smoothish. Like, it's not flat, but it's, like, cleared out. There's no trees. And then it's still kind of a cliff on the... I don't know. We'd have to go look at it, but there might be a spot over there.
And maybe we could make a tunnel out of boulders.
Or...
get Chris into it.
There's the cliff at the bottom of the property, too.
I don't know if you've taken me there.
You've been there twice, at least, or 4 times. I don't know. It's on the trail. Remember-
Oh, that cliff.
Yeah, it's a way bigger cliff. It's just not as exposed because there's trees around it. But that part is like just the trail. It's also easy. It's fairly easy to access still. I mean, you just have to come up from the bottom instead. But
It'd be
it's
so
downhill.
cool through the trees and
yeah, and down there might actually be a better spot anyway.
Yeah.
But
so
anyway.
we need an automatic helix machine to make this possible.
no, we don't. It's just a lot of it, and that doesn't even help. That doesn't even help that much, Edwin. I'm just saying
Why not? Because then we just
because
plug
it
it
doesn't.
into a computer, right? And then
I
bam.
I don't. I mean, maybe, but I'm just saying, like, even if you have those helixes already bent for you, each section of track you build is going to take like a day to build at least.
Just
Each
from all
section.
the welds.
Yeah, it's just a lot of welds. It's a lot of cuts. It's a lot of figuring. It's a lot of like
A decent amount of precision.
Yeah, it has to be decently precise. It has to like bolt together with the other pieces, and then you have to
How they
figure out
build
that,
these big roller coasters is unbelievable.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying we can't do it. It's just like it's a lot of work. It's not like we could do this in a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The rock saw's first, Edwin.
Yes, rock saw comes first. That's
Chris is
for
like,
sure.
We're going to postpone Edwin's ideas until we're cutting rock.
Yeah.
I was wrong about something though. Ethan was more okay with that idea
Yeah.
than I expected.
Because you guys started off with make it better.
Yeah.
Because last time Edwin's like, can we put it here? And I just said no, because it's an atrocious pile of crap that's not that cool. I mean, it's pretty cool to have a
It's
roller coaster
pretty
in your
nice.
backyard, but like as a roller coaster, it's terrible. So if we make it a lot better, yes, but also it's easy to say yes to that because like it has to happen first.
2 days ago, I rode it once and threw my back. It's pretty aggressive.
Exactly. It's not
Have you
pleasant.
still not added any padding?
No.
Ah.
Well, the main thing I need to do is make real, like, cement, little patches to put the supports
Pads.
on.
Pads, yeah.
Are you going to do that? Because then it's like
No.
very permanent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't get away with it. I'm already fighting
Bummer.
for it on the week to week.
Mm.
So I don't know why exactly this just made me think of something pretty funny. I was telling you at the beginning of this that Kylie was like telling me that she looked at a motorcycle at a gas station and thought it was really
Yeah.
cool and remembered it.
I could see her being a biker person for
Sure.
sure.
If she's already got the tattoos, it works. But even funnier, she really wants a dump truck.
Heck yeah.
I heard that this morning.
Yeah. She really wants a dump truck. It's just funny. I was just thinking about it made me think of it because you were like, I can't get away with that, with your roller coaster in your backyard.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I think a lot of people that meet me think that like my wife like puts up with what we do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
No, she like
they're
likes a lot of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
she doesn't get nerdy about the engines and stuff. She just doesn't care. But the lifestyle, she's very into. So
Yeah. Like living in the middle of nowhere,
yeah.
having a 6x6K truck.
Well, she like every time we see a K truck, she's like, I need it. I want one. She really wants one that she can just like drive to town. And even if ours was street legal, it'd be misery to drive it to town.
Yeah. And the steering's a little sketch for that,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Well, it is right now because it's broken. But if it was fixed, it'd be fine. But anyway, yeah. She like more than anything, she wants a K truck that she can drive to town. Like she just said this the other day. We were driving home. She's like, because we talked about upgrading her car that she has for like when we have kids, so it's a bigger, nicer vehicle with more room for kids and dogs. And the other day she's like, I think I'd rather have like a K truck and a dump truck and just keep the car that I have. I was like, nice. I married the right person.
Yeah.
How about a K dump truck?
I mean, yeah, that too. She wants that as well. But I'm like, if you're gonna get a dump truck, I mean, maybe both is the answer.
Well, what
Because-
about this like $2,000 dump truck that was sick that we were looking at? Is that still for sale?
Yeah, I found a really cool one. Let me show you this one. Hang on. I mean, I don't know that the
A dump truck so the kids and the dogs can be in the
Yeah.
back.
yes. No, I
Well, what we're thinking about doing for a dump truck is do kind of one that is like beat up and hasn't run, like one of those ran when parked, and then like fix it up on the property and then like on whatever property it's on and then drive it home.
look at this thing.
Oh, that
Yeah,
thing's
something
cool.
Beautiful.
classy like
Mhm.
that. Like I think that'd
Oh,
be a super
yeah.
fun video, and then we'd
That's-
also have a dump truck, and we have
Yeah, the
plenty of use
62?
for dump trucks.
It's 64.
64.
But yeah, there's a bunch of them that are like ran when parked, like a million of them.
Yeah.
I was looking at ones that run because if I'm going to buy my wife a dump truck, I don't have time for it to be a project.
to work on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a project because it's an old dump truck, but like, if I'm just going to buy it for her to have. But yeah, I was actually going to tell you about the idea of getting one because also the thumbnail and title of I bought my wife a dump truck.
Perfect.
Oh man.
or we do I bought my wife her dream car and have like a whiteout outline of like a Lamborghini or something, but then it's a dump truck.
Well, the white outline could just be a dump truck. It'd be really obvious, and people
Yeah.
would be like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. We should definitely
that
do
would
that.
be hilarious. But yeah, anyway, yeah.
Alyssa
she's
and I were
decided she
just
wants a dump
talking
truck.
about like what we would do if we won the. You know how the Powerball was at like 1.7
Oh.
whatever. Like it was insane.
Did someone win it? You
I
said
think someone
was.
did win it,
Wow.
but we were talking about what we would do with it, and I was like, I could buy some new parts for my RAV4, and like you could get a new car. I guess we were like, our lives wouldn't change that much.
Yeah,
We like what we're doing.
I could get my mining claim.
Yeah.
you could. You wouldn't even need to win the lottery. It's really not like if you just sold.
The roller coaster.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like half of your terrible Chinese bikes.
So if you buy a mining claim, you need to improve the property. It's like you need to do like a couple $1,000s of improvements like per acre or something like that.
You don't have to do anything.
No, it depends on the type of claim, but no.
Well, Ben was saying there's these claims that you can get for like $500. You don't own the land.
Okay. Those are ones that are
on state property.
Yeah. Well, also they're like no one's using them,
Yeah.
so they're
No.
old ones. What I'm talking about is an active claim. So somebody already has it.
Oh, so
It's
you
already
know
active.
there's
You don't
gold
have to
there.
do anything. They've just bought it. They've been messing around with it and realized that they're never going to
Oh.
make money
Yeah.
because obviously. But then you just buy it from them, and you don't have to do any
Ah,
of those improvement things
I
because
see.
they already either did that or
Mm,
whatever.
Well, if you buy a new claim, it's like only a couple $100, but you need to make a couple $1,000s of improvements to the land. So like make a campsite, make a trail, make a
Road or something.
a gazebo, something like that. I was like, what if I put the roller coaster on my mining claim?
That's not an improvement, Edwin.
Yeah, I think that's just known as littering.
Well, if I put it in the rock, nice and good.
I mean, it would be pretty cool to build a tunnel through the rock and have the roller coaster go through a
Yeah,
tunnel.
and use my little China cart as the mining cart to get the ore out of the mine.
To get the gold out of the granite, Edwin.
Yeah. Well, you need the blast to do that. I've been watching YouTube videos. Turns out the way we were panning for gold is entirely wrong.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
It's not like Steven told you that or anything.
I was saying we need bedrock, and you're like, look at this nice pay dirt in the sand. I was like, oh, well, all right,
I
maybe.
just figure
but
like on YouTube
Yeah.
that it's like always in the black sand, and there we were.
we were finding black sand, so we were doing
We were
that
close.
part.
I'm gonna
correct.
find gold one of these days. It's going
Yeah.
to be crazy, but
Yeah, I mean, if you keep trying, you will find gold eventually. It's not actually that hard to find gold. It's just hard to find enough to make a difference,
yeah,
to be worth anything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the-
most of it's already been found, Edwin. The big stuff.
yeah, if you were going to find like pay dirt, as you said, in my creek, somebody else would have beat you to it about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. That is the part.
That's
of
the
it, but
moral of the story. Like
yeah,
millions of people tried
yeah,
very, very, very hard
yeah.
for many, many, many years.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we were talking about too. Like people gave up their whole lives for it and dedicated their
Yep.
entire lives. Like lots of people.
Which
I was
wasn't very
concerned
long.
you were about to
well,
do
the
that.
more that I've learned about it,
Which-
the more it makes sense why there just isn't gold laying around rivers these days.
Yeah.
Like one person found like a bunch of gold in the Klondike River, and then weeks later, like 100,000 people rolled in and destroyed the entire river.
Yep.
Completely destroyed, and only 2 or 3 of them got rich.
Yep.
So like,
Yeah, and when you
She's
say
gone.
when you say they dedicated the rest of their lives to it, that was like 5 years. The rest of their lives,
Yeah.
because they just most of them died. Like,
really,
well, yeah. I mean, like
A lot of them did.
disease,
really,
blowing
Yeah.
themselves up with dynamite,
Oh.
like killing each other over claims,
wow.
starving to death. You
Their
know, like
wives went insane from the mosquitoes, Edwin.
Oh,
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
that's got to take some years
But yeah,
off.
I mean, just like everything was more like nothing was very certain.
Yeah.
so there's just, that movie A Million Ways to Die in the West? It just came to my head. There was just a million ways to die mining for gold. I mean, like a bear could eat you in your sleep. Your neighbor that you thought was your friend could just shoot you because he thinks your claim's better than his and just wants it.
Or you could be unlucky like those people up here in North Idaho who just found some uranium and then they like all got irradiated and all died. Like that was...
They were busy mining and then you just, died of radiation.
There's a whole graveyard dedicated to that up here.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
Just from standing in the river. And
yeah, remember Ben
uranium.
was telling us about it, but that reminded me of the story. But they had their...
Wait, is that up by Bonner's Ferry? Or okay.
Yep. And it's still apparently
So what
radioactive
happened?
up there. They just got irradiated and
Died of radiation
died
poisoning.
of radiation poisoning.
Yowza.
But they didn't know what was happening at first.
Oh, I remember he was like, yeah, we were looking at these headstones and everyone was really young and we were wondering what's going on. But they were like digging it up and having their kids pan and then they all just like got radiation poisoning from the water because there's uranium in it.
That's one of the spots I want to take you to find gold, Edwin.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm into it. Well, I think you have to be there for a long time for it to get you.
This is true. Yeah. And they were probably also drinking the water that...
This is also true.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. You really
I
don't
wouldn't
wanna be
drink that
doing
water.
No. But, yeah. What were we talking about before we got onto this? I don't know.
Well, we were talking about the house, but I think we should
Yeah.
wrap it up, have some lunch,
That's
and
a good
then,
plan.
get to it because we have the Jeep behind us here that we are going to paint tomorrow. So exciting
got-
times at Grindhard Plumbing Co.
And we have to do it tomorrow because Brian from Duplicolor is going to come help us paint it.
Yep, the
That's
man
pretty cool.
himself.
G-Body Brian himself.
Yep, he'll be on next week's podcast, so make sure you subscribe.
You probably know what a G-Body is, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Cars, like Chevy? Yeah.
Yep.
This guy, he's coming. Well, we're going to dinner with him tonight, but then he'll be up here tomorrow painting. His name, like everybody calls him G-Body Brian because he's just like obsessed with G-Bodies.
Really?
Yeah, he has a whole Instagram that's like largely dedicated to G-Bodies.
G-Bodies?
Yeah, and he goes
Wow.
to like a G-Body like festival every year, and yeah, I didn't know there was such a hardcore following for
G-Body.
G-Bodies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
But
So,
anyway, yeah,
yeah.
he's super cool. Anyway, he'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah. So
And we'll
thanks for
hopefully-
watching the Sent and Bent podcast. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts, and subscribe for next week. It's going to be awesome.